If I use just a few words like the sky is green, I can deceive you and manipulate you, and you'd never be able to tell from my words. There's much more chance you'll see deception and manipulation, if it's happening, when I use many more words, like 6 minutes worth of them, in a voice note to an A-list actress.
Hey, Blake. It is 2 a.m. Hopefully this does not wake you up.
Welcome to Never a Truer Word, where we look at the words that people choose to use to see if they're telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, using my statement investigation process, which anyone can learn to give themselves an advantage in understanding the people all around them. Here, I'm going to look at the voice note that Justin Baldoni sent to Blake Lively. Well, the one that's been leaked anyway, and I'm going to examine it word by word to see what's really going on inside it. Is he a nice, caring guy, or is something a little bit darker happening? Heads up, by the way, I'm only analysing Justin Baldoni here. I'm not going to have any conclusions at all about Blake Lively, although if you want to commission that, feel free to get in touch and we can have a chat. So here's some things to look for when we're analysing this voice note. It's 6 minutes long. Look for repeated words and concepts. What does he bring up time and time again? That will give us some indication of Justin's priorities and perhaps his reason for leaving the voice note. Look at what he jokes about. Often jokes are very revealing about someone's personality and someone's character. And in this especially, look at who he puts down. He's quite self-depreciating, but is that genuine? We'll have some conclusions on that towards the end. So let's dive into the voice note.
Hey, Blake. It is 2 a.m. Hopefully this does not wake you up. Whew. Wow. There's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person soon and get to talk more. But I'm just going to send you a few thoughts, and hopefully it's not going to be more than a few minutes. But that I don't have the best track record. I don't think either one of us have the best track record for our voice memos. I want to start with an apology. Man, reading the second part of your message, my heart sank, and I'm really sorry. I for sure fell short, and you worked really hard on that, and the way you framed it, and how that made you feel. I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. That takes a lot of trust and vulnerability, and I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that that's how you feel and share that with me.
Justin using his best FM DJ voice there, and he starts with, "Hey, Blake." When someone is making a statement, writing a letter, issuing an apology or anything like that, they very often start by defining the audience for us. It's always very helpful. And his first words are, "Hey, Blake." So this is designed to get to Blake, and Blake only. That's the only person he seems to be addressing in this voice note, which is absolutely fine. It's to be expected. It's just something for us to say that this is directly to Blake. Blake is the person he wants to influence most with this voice note. It's not the only person, as we'll see as we go through it. He then says, "It is 2 a.m. Now, the first things we say are like the most important things for us to say, the things that we really want to get across. Think about when someone leaves you a voicemail, they may call and say, "Hey Jack, it's me and it's 10:30 and I want to speak to you in the next half hour." So they're stamping a time on it for a reason. They're putting a deadline on it. Here he's getting across it's 2 a.m. Now, why is he doing that? Is it just a habit? Is that what he does, like very much like the voicemails? Or is he trying to show how hard I'm working, how much I'm thinking about you, because hey, I'm doing this at 2 o'clock in the morning? He continues, "Hopefully this does not wake you up." So I've got something going on here. I'm waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I am awake and I am working on things and I'm trying to contact you. And you, Blake, you're asleep. You're not quite working as hard as me. That's the difference that he seems to be making there. Although it seems very nice. It seems like a nice thing. Hopefully this does not wake you up. It's, I think, could be to make that point of, I'm up, I'm working on this movie, and you are asleep. And also, as we go through this analysis, just take that concept with you that the third thing he says in this voice note is, hopefully this voice note does not wake you up. Then he gives a oof and he says, wow. There's so much I want to say to you. And that word want is doing a lot of work there. There's not, I've got a lot to say to you. I'm going to say a lot to you. It's just, I want to say to you that he's setting out here. It's not, I got a lot to say. He doesn't just go in and say it. He wants to frame it as there's so much that I want to say to you. He continues, and I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person soon and get to talk some more. And this is one of his priorities, is actually getting face to face with Blake in this voice note. You can see here, I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person and get to talk more. And I believe as we go through this, we'll see that for good or bad, one of Justin's priorities in all of this is wanting to be together with Blake. And that is potentially going to get just a little bit creepy. And look, he set out at the beginning of this voice note, there's a lot I want to say to you, and I hope that we can do it in person. Although he doesn't say I can say these things to you in person. They're separate. There's so much I want to say to you, and I want to meet you. Strange. But he could have wrapped this all up very quickly. Hey, Blake, just getting in touch to say, I've got a lot I want to say to you. Can we arrange a meeting? That would be a very professional way of doing it and would get across what he wants. But no, what he's going to say is, I hope we can get to meet in person. And then he's going to go on and on and on and on with these things that he wants to say to you. He says, but I'm just going to send you a few thoughts. So but indicates that what's coming now is more important than what came before. So as much as I'd like to see you in person, I'm going to send you a few thoughts. Actually, I don't want to talk in person, which would be a two-way conversation. I want to dominate this, and I want to send you all my thoughts. So he's taking a dominant position over Blake, as we can see. It's 2:00 in the morning. I'm up. You're not. And now you're helpless to resist the fact that I'm going to give you a few thoughts. But I'm going to send you a few thoughts. Hopefully, it's not going to be a few minutes, but that I don't have the best track record. And this is this self-depreciating thing that he pulls off here. It looks quite humble on its own. I don't have the best track record. And then he says, I don't think either of us have the best track record. So what he's doing here, again, it's that dominant thing that's going on. He says, I don't have the best track record, which would put him below anyone who's got a good track record. So he's bringing Blake down to his level as well and saying, I don't think either one of us has the best track record for our voice memos. So that we've just gone through the first paragraph of this voice note, and I can see two themes coming out here. Number one is he wants to assert domination over Blake, although he's trying to do the nice guy thing, and he's got, hey, the nice voice going on there. He's trying to assert some domination over her, and also he wants to see her in person. He continues, I want to start with an apology. Man, reading the second part of your message, my heart sank, and I'm really sorry. I for sure fell short, and you worked really hard on that. And the way you framed it, and how I made you feel, I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. Lots, as you can hear there, lots of stumbles, lots of hesitations in what he was saying there. And he says, I want to start with an apology. We've got this word want again. It's not I'm starting, I am starting with an apology. Here is an apology for you. It's just a wish. I want to start with an apology. And then he says, man, reading the second part of your message, so he was going to say something there, man, and that something, he was going to own it because he has the word I there. So is it, man, I'm sorry for what I did. Man, I'm sorry for disrespecting you. Man, I messed up. We don't know, because he pulled out of that thought that he was going to own with the word I, man, I. And what he says is, reading the second part of your message, my heart sank. So that's much more distant than him owning it. He does say my heart sank, and he does take ownership of that. But it's really passive, reading the second part of your message. It was her message that made the heart sank, not what he did. He says, and I'm really sorry. And that word really is persuasive. He could say, I'm sorry. That would be straightforward. It would be sincere. But he's got to say how sorry he is. It doesn't change the meaning of saying I'm sorry. It's just, I want to convince you how sorry I am with I'm really sorry. And he's going to use really a lot here. It's his go-to word to move something from just being factual to being persuasive. I'm really sorry. I for sure fell short. For sure is a convincing phrase. So this is turning into less of a voice note where he's explaining things or apologizing, and it's like a sales job that's going on. He's using lots of persuasive and convincing language. I for sure fell short. So for sure is like, he could just say, I fell short. Yeah, again, that would just be factual and straightforward, but he's adding more in there. So for sure, fell short. And you worked really hard on that. And the way you framed it and how that made you feel, I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. So what we've got going on there is that stutter on the I. When we say I, it's about us. It's very personal. Very often we will stutter on the I because what we're going to say is join the I to the thing that we're going to say next. Sometimes that can be psychologically quite hard for us, and we think about it in our heads. Do we really want to say this? Am I saying the right thing here? Because I'm putting the word I on it, and we have that stutter there. I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. But in all that, can anyone tell me what he's sorry for? He says, I want to start with an apology, and he says, I'm really sorry. He says, I fell short. At what? What is he sorry for there? He's not owning this apology. He's not being specific at all so far about what he's sorry for. He continues, that takes a lot of trust and vulnerability, and I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that that's how you feel and share that with me. So on the surface, this looks like, I'm admiring you, Blake. I'm admiring your vulnerability and the fact that you were brave and did this. But if you actually look at it, it's saying, you're great for trusting me, feeling safe with me, and sharing with me. That takes a lot of trust and a vulnerability. I just feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that's how you feel and share that with me. Listen, Blake, you're great for seeing what a great guy I am. And just look at the composition there. It's really all about him. We've got his personal pronouns in there. I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that's how you feel and share that with me. There are 4 personal pronouns in that section there and just 2 around Blake. I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that's how you feel and share that with me. So this really, as much as it looks nice, is all about him. Let's get some more from the voice note.
And I'm really sorry. I f***ed up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I'm a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And and I'm gonna f*** up. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I'm gonna you off probably, but I will always apologize and find my way back to center. That is one thing I can assure you of. And I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That must have felt terrible. And I will for sure do better. That was not my best weekend, and I should have given it more time. And damn right, you got great friends if that's how you felt and they knew that. And we should all have friends like that, aside from the fact that they're 2 of the most creative people on the planet. The 3 of you guys together is unbelievable. Talk about energy and just a force, all 3 of you. But I just wanted you to know that I didn't need that, because it's really good and it's going to make the movie sing like you said, and I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you.
The FM DJ in self-depreciating mode again. But is it all that it seems? He starts that extract saying, and I'm really sorry I effed up. This is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologise when I fail. We've got that word really again. He's not just sorry, he's really sorry. Again, he's doing this sales job that trying to convince and persuade how sorry he is. But look, what's he sorry for? A genuine and sincere apology will be, I'm really sorry for doing this. But no, he's just, I'm really sorry, I effed up. It's not specific. It's not owning the action that he is apologising for. He says, one thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologise when I fail. So he's apologizing, I presume, for a specific incident at the start when he says, I'm really sorry, I effed up. He screwed up something, but he's not saying what it is, but it is a specific incident. And then instead of dealing with that incident where there's obviously some issue going on, he moves into the general, not the specific. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. So instead of dealing with a specific sensitive incident that's at the heart of the matter, I think he started to move into the general and talk about who he is as a person and not about the incident that's caused the problem for Blake. He says, one thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize. That's controlling language. One thing you should know about me. This is him telling her what she should know, what should be in her head, and know, not think, feel, maybe come to your own conclusions on. He's telling her in controlling, coercive language something that she should know. He says, I am far from perfect. I'm a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And he laughs. I'm going to F up. I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. I'm going to pee you off probably, but I will always apologize and find my way back to center. That is one thing I can assure you of, and I'm sorry I made you feel that way. So once again, we just have this huge generality. I'm far from perfect. I'm a very flawed man, and I'm going to F up. I'm going to say the wrong thing. Again, he's talking in general here. He's moved away from what is the sensitive issue at the heart, the reason he sent this voice note, and instead, he's just talking about life in general with all this self-depreciating talk, but nothing is specific there whatsoever. And look at the vibe of this whole thing. Just listen to it again. I'm far from perfect. I'm a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And I'm going to F up. I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. I'm going to pee you off probably, but I will always apologize and find my way back to center. That is one thing I can assure you of, and I'm sorry I made you feel that way. What he's saying there is, I'll make mistakes and I'll say sorry after them. It's not, I'm going to do better. It's not, I'm going to learn to behave better. I'm going to think before I speak. I'm going to count to 10, hold my breath and count to 10. It's none of those things whatsoever. It's, I am going to make mistakes. I'm going to say sorry. I'm going to talk my way out of them. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to use my late night FM DJ voice and say sorry. And so far in my life, this has been quite successful in turning people around. But it's not an offer to do better in his life. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to do the wrong thing. And then I'm going to say sorry. That's how I am. You're going to have to put up with the fact that I mess up. By the way, he's talking about saying the wrong thing, not behaving badly, doing the wrong thing. It is, I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. So he doesn't think his actions are the trouble here. It's how he verbalizes them. So he doesn't think his internal thought processes or his actions are wrong there. That's what he's saying. It's what he says sometimes that is wrong. And then he talks about, I'll come back to center. I'm sorry I made you feel that way. The vibe in this extract here, when I say the wrong thing, me, Justin Baldoni, I'll then say the right thing. He thinks he's silver-tongued, and we can see that with the words that he's using and the concepts that he's using. And then he says, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. Once again, no specifics whatsoever, not acknowledging the way she felt. He cannot bring himself to say how she felt. It's just this very general, non-specific, I'm sorry, I made you feel that way. A little bit of ownership in it there, that I made you do it, but it's far from being specific. He continues, that must have felt terrible, and I will for sure do better. Now, this is better because this is him talking about what he's going to do and not what he's going to say. So I'll give him some plus points for that and talking about doing better. However, I'm going to have to remove some points for him because we've got that red flag for sure word again, where he's convincing that he is going to do it. By the way, it's not just I will do better, but I will for sure do better. I'm turning up the severity. I'm convincing you that this is happening by using more words than were needed. He says, that was not my best weekend. Again, he's not specific. He's not specific about what it is he's done. He's not specific about what it is he's done wrong. He's not even specific about what was wrong with what he's done. Just that was not my best weekend. And I should have given it more time. And damn right, you've got great friends. If that's how you felt, if that's how you felt. Little slip up there. He may well be very smooth with words and be able to use all his persuasive and convincing language. But listen, like I say, the truth will leak out. The more words you use, the harder it is to control what you say, the harder it is to get the right word on the right note all the time. And what he said is, if that's how you felt. So even then, he's not giving her legitimacy of saying, you've told me how you feel and I'll believe you because, well, why would you be lying? He's saying, I think you might be lying there because it's only if that's how you felt. It's like one of those apologies where someone says, I'm sorry if any offence was caused, not I'm sorry for the offence I caused. It's qualified. It's that if that's how you felt. He focuses very much on her friends here. You've got great friends. They knew that. We should all have friends like that. I think he's sensitive that she's told him that she's told other people about what happened. And I think here he is upset, unhappy that other people know what he did. It's not just kept between him and Blake, but she has told other people about it. I think they knew that is the key phrase there. So you've got great friends, if that's how you felt, and they knew that. And Blake, we should all have friends like that. So I think he really is sensitive about the fact that this has not just been kept between himself and Blake, that her friends now are in on it and her friends may think less of him. And I think he's sucking up to these friends as well. We should all have friends like that. And they're two of the most creative people on the planet. Again, it's like a little sales job, isn't it? He's just saying, hey, how great are your friends? Look what a great guy I am. I'm apologizing. I've messed up. I'll always do better. And by the way, you've got great friends as well. He continues, the three of you guys together, it's unbelievable. And we've got more there of just how great these friends are. Talk about energy, just a force, all three of you. You can see there he's trying to win not just Blake, but the friends over with that. But I just wanted you to know that I didn't need that. Now I listened to this over and over again because it would make more sense if it was I did need that or I didn't read that or something like that. But he says, I didn't need that. Which is that a slip or is that him just leaking out that whatever it was that Blake did? I didn't need that. He says, because it's really good. Here's his go-to word again when he's not just saying it's good. Factually, it's good. It's really good. So this is snake oil salesman wording here. It's really good. And I'm going to make the movie and it's going to make the movie sing like you said. And I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you. What interested me there, I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you is that word whole. The word whole didn't need to be in there to make that make sense. I'm excited to go through the movie with you. Would have been talking about them working together on this movie, but it's the whole movie. Was there a point here where he was worried that she will pull out? Is that why he put the word whole in there? We'll get back to Justin's voice note soon, including a comment about Blake Lively's boobs. What do I make of that? We will find out as we go through the voice note. Now listen, do you ever feel like you're not hearing the full story? Well, you're right, it's happening to us all the time, and I'm here to give you the key to seeing deeper. Now all of this is about hearing the world with new ears, and I'm on a mission to share this skill with as many people as possible. So if you want to join me on the journey, if you want to unlock that secret, subscribe, follow, join the movement. You will get new episodes as soon as they arrive. Also, dive into the archives. There's a treasure trove of cases there waiting to be explored. And you can be a force for that change too, because if you know someone who needs this skill set, someone who deserves to hear the truth, hit the like button, share this with people, recommend it to others, pass it on, because every single click, every single share fuels the fire, because they allow me to dig deeper, analyze further, and bring this life-changing skill to even more people. So you have that power. You can make the difference. Let's do this.
You know, I think you and I have been trying to build a relationship, which I think we've done successfully. I mean, here we are talking like this, me into my phone at 2 a.m, but largely via text and voice note. And I will be honest with you, that is not my biggest strength. I love being with people and being in somebody's space and being face to face, and I feel like that's where I excel, and definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges, because there's so much to communicate and there's so much happening. And all that to say, I'm just really looking forward to spending time together. And I think that's going to really go a long way for our chemistry, which I believe is there. Has been there from the start. So I was so damn excited when you wanted to do this film. I felt it in the room when we met, and yeah, I think it does come from the both of us being so fucking hardworking and having a vision and not settling.
He begins there saying, I think that you and I have been trying to build a relationship, which I think we've done successfully. We have that stutter on the I again. I think this is something that's stressful for him to say. He's maybe thinking about his words. He's thinking, should I actually say it? So he goes, I think. And then what he says is very odd. He says, you and I have been trying to build a relationship. Now, trying always involves failure. If you've been trying to do something, it hasn't been a success. What have you been doing all morning? Trying to fix the car. Therefore, the car is not fixed. I've been trying to get hold of you all day. Says there has been no success. So you and I have been trying to build a relationship, suggesting, and it's the first thing he says, he doesn't think they have built a relationship, a good relationship, because it is just trying to build a relationship. And that is belied further when he says, which I think we've done successfully. So even though it finishes with successfully, first of all, he tells us about trying, so that suggests failure, and only I think we've done successfully. And he says, you and I have been trying to build a relationship. Here we have one of his concepts going on again about this is more than just professional. This is about personal. We've been trying to build a relationship. He doesn't say a working relationship or trying to work well together or anything like that. It is the full-blown thing. It is a relationship. He continues, here we are talking like this, me and my phone at 2 a.m. Here we are. Pronouns are always very telling when we use them, and it's here we are. No, Justin, it's just you. You are sort of enforcing this on her at 2 o'clock in the morning, but here we are. No, it's just you. Here we are talking like this. No, you're not talking. You, and if this is your definition of talking, this is a worry, because this is you telling her how the world is. But you want to join up. You want to have this relationship, and you want to say, here we are. He reinforces the fact that this is happening at 2 a.m. again. And once more, look at me, working, trying to contact you. I care so much about this, I'm doing it at 2 o'clock in the morning. He says, but largely via text and voice note. And that, I will be honest with you, that's not my biggest strength. Always be wary when someone is telling you that they are being honest with you. Why? Why do they feel the need to flag up at this point they are being honest with you? Well, there's a couple of reasons. It could be that everything else is a lie, everything else is deception, but they really want to flag up. At this point, I am being honest with you. Or is it the fact that they really want you to believe honesty is coming because deception is coming? But it's always a red flag when someone tells you how honest or how truthful they are being. And what does he say? He says, that is not my biggest strength. Notice how he phrases that. He doesn't say, that's a weakness of mine. He says, that is not my biggest strength, i.e. it's one of my biggest strengths. It's just not the biggest one. That is not my biggest strength. Sense of ego coming through here. He can't admit frailty. He can't admit weakness. He can't say, we've been communicating on text and voice note. I'm not very good at that. No, it's said in a positive spin. That is not my biggest strength. He continues, and I love being with people and being in somebody's space and being face to face, and that's where I excel. And so we've got again this fact that he wants to be with people, but because this is generic, this is about somebody, but he is talking to Blake Lively at the time. I love being with people. I love being in somebody's space. I love being face to face. He really gives me the impression he wants to spend personal time with her. And that phrase, I love being in somebody's space. Now that is starting to feel a little bit creepy, because we don't want to be in people's space unless it's a very intimate thing to be in somebody's space, somebody's presence, being with someone, seeing someone. All these things are kind of fine and at a safe distance, but in somebody's space is a danger zone to be in. How many people do you work with where you'd love to be in their space? You might like being with them, but in their space, no, I'm not buying that. It's slightly creepy, and it's this thing where he keeps talking about how he wants to be with her and how he wants to be close to her. And then when we're talking about his good points, he tells us that being face to face, I feel like that's where I excel. Wow. Not shy of an opinion on himself, especially a positive opinion on himself. Something is not his biggest strength, but he will also tell us where I excel. He continues, definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges because there's so much to communicate and there's so much happening. Now, there's no pronoun there. It's not I have definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges. It's not we have definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges. He's not owned this with any kind of pronoun, or not owned it with any kind of pronoun. You have definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges. He's dropped the pronoun, which suggests to me it's about himself, and he knows he's fallen short at times. So who has, but also he uses our. Does that mean he's, again, doing this, we're both as bad as each other or we're both as good as each other concept that's there? He does not want, in my opinion, to put himself below Blake. He does not say, I'm rubbish at these, I'm not very good at these, you're way more better at text and voice notes than me. He just is, we've definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges because there's so much to communicate and there's so much happening. And all that to say, I'm just really looking forward to spending time together. This feels more romantic or friendship-like than a working relationship. It's not, I'm really looking forward to working together. It's, I'm really looking forward to spending time together. I'm starting to get a little bit creeped out. He says, and I think that's going to go a long way for our chemistry, which is there and has been from the start. So what do you think when someone says, I think that spending time together is going to go a really long way for our chemistry? That means that the chemistry is starting from a small point and will go to a bigger point, yeah? I think that that's really going to go a long way for our chemistry. Reads to me like we don't have very much chemistry going at the moment. We need to spend some time to get the chemistry going because it's got a long way to go, the chemistry. And I think he realises that because he then corrects us himself and says, which I believe has been there from the start. So the chemistry is there, but it needs to go a long way, but it's been there from the start. That doesn't hang together. I think he realises the mistake that he made there. I think he realised that he's leaking that he thinks they don't have very good chemistry. They need to spend some time together to get this chemistry going. But he realises that might be putting himself down. That might be putting Blake down and get Blake's anger up. So then he goes, which I believe has been there from the start. He continues, so I was so damn excited when you want to do this film. I felt it in the room when we met, and yeah, I think it does come from the both of us being so fucking hardworking and having a vision and not settling. We've got some pronouns going on here. I was so damn excited when you want to do this film. I felt it in the room when we met, and yeah, I think it does come from the both of us being so fucking hardworking and having a vision and not settling. You'll see in all that there, she is only as good as him. He cannot talk about anything that she is good at without joining himself in and saying, I am as good as you. So we're both hardworking. We both have a vision. We both do not settle. So again, I really don't like this. He cannot pay her anything like how good she is without joining himself into it as well, and never once allowing her to be better than him. And again, very common concept from Justin is he talks about in the room when we met, this physical contact that was there. Obviously very important for him. Let's have some more from his voice note.
And I'm excited to have a creative partner in that with you. And it's just really exciting. There's so much more to say. There's so much I want to say. And there's one thing that I do need to say, which is I am so sorry you have been through what you've been through with these other filmmakers and producers or whoever the people were that you worked with. It just me off. Those heads that, I'm just still kind of blown away that this is the industry that we're in and that you've experienced that as a woman. And I know I don't need to say it, but that's not at all going to be or will be, and hopefully it's not been the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me like that I get to work with Blake Lively and have her, all of her. I mean, that's what I want. And so there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. I am totally fine with that. The only reason I didn't send it today was because I was trying to implement and add your notes into my working draft, which is already like I'm all over that draft right now. So there's a whole bunch of new stars that are going to be collated pages. And I just haven't had a chance to send it to you. But there's no hesitancy. I'm happy to send it to you. And I'm sorry that has happened to you before.
That section begins, and I'm really excited to have I'm excited to have a creative partner in that with you, and it's just really exciting. So here comes Snake Oil Salesman's favourite word to just say the facts, tell us how he feels, but to tell us that he really feels this. It's just really exciting. There's so much more to say. There's so much I want to say. And there's one thing I do need to say. Now, this is about 5 minutes in, and it's like an afterthought, the thing that he needs to say, which is dealing with something horrible that's happened in Blake's career earlier on. But he's been so busy talking about himself, getting across his point, and saying what he wants to do that he seems like he's forgot to acknowledge it. And 5 minutes in, and there's one thing that I do need to say, which is, I'm so sorry you have been through what you've been through with these other filmmakers and producers or whoever, the people that you worked with. Again, general, not specific. You've been through what you've been through. What does that even mean? It's not acknowledging what she has raised at all. It's taking it down to, I wasn't really listening. You said you were unhappy with something at work. Yeah, look, I'm sorry you've been through what you've been through with filmmakers, producers, or whoever, just people that you work with. So he's been very general, non-specific, dismissive, I think, of what she said. It just bleeped me off, those dickheads, that I'm still kind of blown away that this is the industry we're in, and that you experienced that as a woman, joining himself to Blake there with the pronoun we. This is the industry that we're in, and that you experienced that as a woman. He continues, and I know I don't need to say it. So this is convincing language again. He could just say it, but he's going to say, I don't need to say it. You know, the fact that I'm saying it is pretty damn obvious. That, you know, you're a bit stupid if you question this, because I don't need to say it. This is the language again of control, of coercive control. I don't need to say it, but that's not at all going to be or will be. So we've got this, he realizes again, going to be is sometime in the future. So the behavior that he's talking about could be prevalent now, but it's not going to be the behavior. And then he corrects himself and says, or will be. Hopefully it's not the experience with me. So it's very vague. He's not saying that's not me at all. He's saying that's not going to be me. That will not be me. Hopefully it's not been the experience with me. So there's not a lot of certainty going on there that he places himself against these other people that Blake had the problem with. He says, hopefully it's not been the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me like that I get to work with Blake Lively and have her, all of her. I mean, that's what I want. So he wants it. That means he doesn't quite have it yet. But also, I get to work with Blake Lively and have her, all of her. That is ownership language. That is not nice at all. He wants to have Blake Lively. There's two meanings to that phrase, to have Blake Lively, and I would wonder from the content of this voice note which one of those two meanings he actually means. He says, and so there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. Now, a little bit of and so storytelling going on here, which is when we're telling a story and we use and so, we're flagging up, we're going to give you a reason for all of this. An excuse is coming up, and what he says is, there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. That's in the negative. So So it's not, so I'm going to send you the draft file soon. It's that there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the draft file. I would suggest there has been hesitancy sending the draft file, as we will see, but he stated that in the negative. He doesn't own that with the I. He doesn't say, I have had no hesitancy sending you the final draft file. There's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. So a little bit of distance there around the hesitancy. He continues, I'm totally fine with that. The only reason I didn't send it today was because I was trying to implement and add your notes into my working draft, which is already like I'm all over that draft right now at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm working hard for you. So there's a whole bunch of new stars that are going to be collated pages. I just haven't had the chance to send it to you, but there's no hesitancy in the negative again. I'm happy to send it to you, and I'm sorry that this has happened to you before. He hasn't sent this file yet, has he? For some reason, he has not sent this file, despite telling us that I'm happy to send it to you, despite the fact that he said there's no hesitancy. Here's the reason why I didn't do it, but I'm really happy to send it to you. But he hasn't sent her the file for some reason. And he says, I haven't had a chance to send it to you. He has had a chance to leave a 6-minute voice note. How long does it take to go attach file, BlakeLively@gmail.com, send? Doesn't take very long at all. So he does have some hesitancy in sending it to her. And that was spotted in that negative phrase. There is no hesitancy. The focus is on the hesitancy of sending it and not the proactiveness of being able to send that attachment.
And I hope after this experience there will be a new, I don't know, I hope it'll be healing in some way. Because that's all I want. I want this movie to be healing. I want this movie to be commercial, just like you, and affect people and touch people. And I want to walk you through my whole plan and the work that we're doing with the domestic violence partner that we found no more, and just my vision. And I just know that this can be really, really special, and it's going to be special. And you're the secret sauce, and we're the secret sauce. And anyways, I have so much more to say. I'm going to stop rambling because, Jesus Christ, it's been 6 minutes and 30 seconds, so me. I'm sorry. You probably have kids all over you and a baby on your boob, and you're listening to me ramble at 2 in the morning. I hope you're feeling better, and give Ryan my love. Thank you for sending me that. It means the world to me that you trust me with your feelings and your thoughts like that, and I can't wait to spend more time with you. Okay, I'm done. Cutting myself off. Good night.
That final part begins, and I hope after this experience there will be a new, I don't know, I hope it will be healing in some way. So this is not very definite at all. I hope after this experience there will be a new, I don't know, I hope it will be healing in some way. Not very committed to that at all. Once again, I think we've got this sales job going on where he doesn't really believe half of what he's saying, and that's leaking out in his language. He hopes after the experience, I don't know, something will happen in some way. He talks about himself a hell of a lot here. So it's, I hope after this experience, I hope it will be healing, because that's all I want. I want this movie to be healing. I want this movie to be commercial. I want to walk you through my movie. He talks about it and just my vision. So this is all about what he wants, how he sees the movie going out. Remember earlier he said, I'm excited to have a creative partner in that with you. Does that sound like having a creative partner? I want this movie to be this. I want this movie to be that. I want to talk you through my vision. I want to talk you through my whole plan. Does he really think that Blake Lively is his creative partner here? This is not an offer to work together. This is not, let's come up with the vision together. Let's see what we want this movie to be. No, not at all. This is all about what he wants. He continues, and I just know this can be really, really special. Yeah, there's that word again. Really, really special. It's his go-to word when he wants to persuade and be smooth and just not be, I'm not being bland and just saying the facts. I want it to be really, really special. And it's going to be special. You're the secret sauce. And for one moment, it's almost like he's letting Blake Lively have the starring role, be the bigger person, be the most important thing in all this by saying, you're the secret sauce. And then, Justin, he goes and ruins it all by saying, we're the secret sauce. So she cannot stand out on her own. She cannot bring anything unique to this movie at all. It's got to be the pair of them. He cannot let her have star billing, basically. You're the secret sauce, and we're the secret sauce. And then he says, and anyways, I have so much more to say. I'm going to stop rambling. At least he realizes that he has been rambling, but maybe do some on the respect of not rambling. Maybe do some on the respect of giving them some focused thoughts, because Jesus Christ, it's been 6 minutes and 30 seconds, so F me, I'm sorry. And he laughs. He says, you probably have kids all over you and a baby on your boob and you're listening to me ramble at 2 a.m. Well, remember he said at the very beginning, you're probably asleep, or I hope this doesn't wake you. But now he's imagining her awake and listening to him ramble at 2 a.m. because, hey, we all want to listen to Justin ramble at 2 o'clock in the morning, don't we? Because if he's giving us attention, we want it. We will take it. But obviously, we've got this creepiness about that line about you've probably got a baby on your boob. Again, he's in her personal space. I don't like that very much. It's just not what is said in a typical working relationship. Again, this is a bit more personal there. And he kind of laughs as he says it. And watch what people joke about, because to make a joke about something, you have to understand it. It has to be in your thought process. It has to be something, you don't just get jokes out of nowhere. I'll make a joke about what? Baby on Blake Lively's boob. No, you have to be thinking about that already for the joke to come out. So I don't like that at all. It feels like very much that he is in her personal space again. You probably got a baby on your boob and you're listening to me ramble at 2 a.m. I hope you're feeling better, and I give Ryan my love. Thank you for sending me that. It means the world to me that you trust me with your feelings and your thoughts like that. So once again, it's really, Blake, I think you're great because you think I'm great, because you think I'm trustworthy with your feelings and your thoughts. What it is, it's coercive. It's saying, hey, you might have thought you were kicking out and saying what a terrible person I was by doing this, but actually what it was, Blake, is that you actually trust me and you're sharing your feelings and thoughts with me like that. Actually, you may have thought I was a bad person, but what you were doing shows that you think I was a good person. This is controlling language. And then he goes on to say, and I can't wait to spend more time with you. So it's the usual concepts that are there. He says, okay, I'm done, cutting myself off. Good night. And that's that epic voice note analysed. So what conclusions do I have? It's really light on content. You know, I don't know what he's sorry for. He never admits it. He never owns it. He never actually deals with it other than going, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. It's just very, very light on content. Like, you know, you've listened to it, 6.5 minutes long. What is it that he's actually trying to say? It's very manipulative. There is a lot of controlling language in there. He's telling Blake how she feels. He's explicitly doing that and saying, you trust me, you think I'm a great guy, and you want to share things with me, that you think I'm great, Blake. And he's also telling Blake how she fits in his world and in his movie. And that personal stuff I did not like. The boob line, that was in someone's space line. I don't like those at all. I think those are a little bit creepy. It is the most touchy-feely I have seen in words for a long time, despite the fact that it was a voice note sent, some distance away. It really feels like he is inside her personal space and being places where he shouldn't. So Justin Baldoni, as much as it sounded nice with his late night FM DJ voice, I did not like the content of that at all. I found it controlling and I found it creepy. What did you think? Do let me know here in the comments, if you can, down below, or get in touch on social media. You will find all the links for social media at neveratruerword.com, or you can go there to see more podcasts, more videos. Do not forget, and I appreciate when you do this, the like, subscribe, share, because that just gives this channel the power to go further. So like, subscribe, share, they'll all be greatly appreciated by me. Check out neveratruerword.com as well, and we'll see you soon for something new from Never a Truer Word.